Burnett Smith Stadium outside of the Orioles headquarters, spring training in Sarasota, Florida, with Zach Britton, who's on the shelf right now. Normally the Oriole closer. He had an injury running, and you popped your Achilles tendon, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about how that happened. People say, how could you do that running?
Right.
What happened?
Yeah, I think it's just a combination of bad luck. Early morning running.
Was it wet?
Yeah, wet grass out in California, so you kind of got the dew off the ocean there where I was working out, and was wearing cleats and just kind of slipped, and next thing I know, I was on the ground in some pain, and it's been kind of a grind, but I'm moving around a lot better and able to start throwing and things like that, so it's making the rehab process a lot easier.
What's remarkable is we were just talking, and I saw you walking to the interview, and you were walking with no limp. It looked like nothing was wrong. You're what, 10 weeks now?
Yeah, 10 weeks
as
today.
we speak right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the doctor did a great job. That's the reason I went to him. Is just I knew from his history with NBA players and NFL players that he was able to get guys back on the field a lot quicker than maybe other doctors had. So that's why I went with him, and the results have been really good so far.
It can be a very solitary experience rehabbing. A lot of people aren't around. You have to do a lot of work, hard work by yourself, or maybe there's a trainer here or there, but for the most part, it's pretty solitary.
Right.
How do you stay positive, optimistic, don't go into a funk and say, I'm going to get better and I'm going to be as good as new?
It's tough. I think it's one of the hardest parts of the rehab. The physical stuff is difficult, obviously, but nothing compared to the mental aspect when you see your team out here training. And I think the hardest thing is, a lot of times you stay back here when the team goes north. Hopefully that's not the case with me. I think we're still trying to figure that out. But when the team leaves and you're really down here by yourself, I think that's when the hard work, it makes it a grind down here mentally. Because you watch the games on TV, you're down here, you get your work in, you go home, and you kind of just hang out with yourself or your family for a little while. And I think it kind of wears on you a little bit, especially for somebody that wants to be out on the field all the time. We're used to playing, we're not used to being injured, and especially for me, I've never had a surgery, so I hope I never have one again. It's been
we
a
hope
tough
so
go.
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not a doctor, so you can't tell us when you'll be back officially. Someone's going to give you the green light at some point. But how do you not push it so much that you're rushing it too much and you're not exactly when you should be coming back, beyond the doctor's green light, that you're trying too hard to be ahead of schedule, even though you are?
Yeah, I think the best thing that happened was they put me on the 60-day DL right when we got Andrew Kashner. And so now we have a time frame. I think May 28th is when that DL time expires. So, I can't come back before then, so I can't push it. So I think for me and the training staff and Buck Showalter, I think it helps us not to get ahead of ourselves a little bit and allow, hey, if I can come back at that time, then that's what we're shooting for. But, I don't have to push it up until that point. I think it's going to help me because last year, dealing with the forearm, I tried to rush it back a few times and had a setback that first time. So patience is always key, especially in this situation.
Now, I asked this of Brad, and I know players who are in this situation hate the question, but I'm going to go anyway. It's a contract year. It's a walk year. How much does that enter the mental part of this game in potentially the final year of an Oriole contract?
I think you think about it a lot during the off season. When you get here, obviously, I'm dealing with an injury, so I'm just focusing on getting back to that and pitching again. But it can be difficult at times. When you see guys that you've played with for a really long time and you're not sure about if you're going to see them again or play with them again. And this is the only organization I've known, so it's really tough for me to imagine not being here. I've been here since I was 18. And
wow, I didn't realize that.
This is my 12th spring with the organization.
Unbelievable.
So,
I didn't realize it was that long. Wow.
It's been a long time, so I can't, it's hard for me to imagine what it's like somewhere else because I've never been anywhere else. Other people may, like Brad Brock. He's been with a few different organizations, so he has a taste of what it's like somewhere else. So it's a tough thing for me to think about, and I try to avoid it. And whatever happens at the end of the season, I guess I'll deal with it when it comes. But I try not to think about it right now.
Last question. You look back at this incredible career you've had, All-Star, and that enormous record you had 2 years ago. And I guess that would probably be the thing you're proudest of when you look back at your career in Baltimore. But maybe there's some other things that go beyond the saves and the ERAs, stuff like that, that you look back fondly. No matter where you end up going, maybe you stay, maybe you don't stay, but you look back fondly and say, boy, that was a great time to be an Oriole.
Right. Yeah, there's a few different stretches that I can look back on and kind of smile. And my first year in 2011, we weren't very good. But we got Chris Davis towards the end of that season. We got
Mhm.
Tommy Hunter towards the end of that
Yep.
season, and the next year we got to the wild card game. So it was nice to kind of be part of that transition from a losing franchise, and we got back to winning. From 2012 really onward, and hopefully we can continue that trend this year. But I think more than the saves or more than anything else, it's been the playoff appearances that we've been a part of, and really 2012, watching the fan base really get back into it for me was pretty special to be a part of that team.
Zach, get healthy.
Thank
Take
you.
your time, but get healthy and get back.
Absolutely.
We could use you.
I will.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Zach
it.
Britton.
Yep.
Zach Britton, everybody.